Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Art Rascone. Happy Friday to you. Welcome to the Midday. It's been a long week, but we've gotten through it. But we have a news update here. And important news, that real headline this week, the Trump administration trying to block the release of the tell-all memoir titled The Room Where It Happened. It's by former National Security Advisor John Bolton. ABC landed an exclusive interview with Bolton, and it will air Sunday night. It's going to be incredible. Joining us now, ABC's Chief Global Affairs Correspondent, Martha Raddatz, the person who interviewed John Bolton. Martha, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
It's great to be with you, Art.
And just an incredible interview. We've been watching it over Good Morning America the past couple of days. John Bolton really is giving a scathing review of President Trump.
It is really quite extraordinary, and there's much more to come about this. I mean, I walked in that interview room having no idea what to expect from John Bolton, and he basically just let loose. And I think what's so extraordinary about this is this was the highest ranking official I can remember in history writing a book so comprehensive, so deeply critical about a sitting president. And that's what really is jaw-dropping.
Sure. And, you know, President Trump has said repeatedly, this is just a bunch of lies. It's fabrication. He was fired because he was simply incompetent. What did John have to say about that?
First of all, he says he resigned. He was not fired. He was there for 17 months. Let's remember it was Donald Trump who hired John Bolton. Whatever you think of John Bolton, whatever you think about his foreign policy, he is considered a foreign policy heavyweight. He has immersed himself in this for all of his life, and I think that's partly what he writes about and what he told us about, and why he thought working for Donald Trump was immediately different than the other presidents he'd worked for. He said he didn't read his briefing papers. He said, you know, stunningly uninformed, which he repeatedly says, and tells us some stories saying that the president thought Finland was part of Russia and that he thought it would be cool to use military action in Venezuela, and that he didn't know Britain was a nuclear power. And, you know, this is about 15 months after Donald Trump had been in office. John Bolton was the third national security advisor. And again, he was at his side in very important meetings from North Korea, meetings on Russia, Chinese. He was there in the room where it happened.
And certainly he's highly respected in all areas of Washington. John Bolton is. President Trump saying he's going to do everything to try and stop the publication of this. But really, I mean, that's going to be an impossibility. It's already out there. It's already overseas. Is that correct?
It is. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of copies already in warehouses, and I think it's going to be awfully difficult to stop. Obviously, many people have read it. I've read it. We did this comprehensive interview with him that will air Sunday. So information is out there. John Bolton insists there's no classified material in his book, and he's a man who would know about classifications. You know, you say he is well respected. He is well respected in foreign policy circles and for his history. But boy, Democrats are mad at him for not testifying in the impeachment, and Republicans are mad at him for writing this book. It's a little bit of a no-win situation for John Bolton right now.
It really is, but that was my next question, because everyone is asking, well, why didn't you come out with this and actually testify, you know, against President Trump? And what was his direct answer to that?
And that's at the heart of it. It's absolutely at the heart of it, Art, because he says he thought it was too politicized. He thought it was too narrowly focused, and he didn't think he'd make a difference. But remember, the key element that was missing was anyone saying they'd actually heard Donald Trump say that there was a tie-in between security assistance for Ukraine and investigations into Joe Biden and others. John Bolton told me that. He wrote it in the book. Why didn't he tell him? He doesn't think it'd make a difference. We'll never know.
Yeah. It has not been, and this would be the last question, Martha, because I know you have to go, but it has not been a good week for President Trump. I mean, with DACA, his defeat there, and with his book coming out, clearly he's not happy.
It's a rough week for Donald Trump, from the Supreme Court to the bookstore. He has a lot to bat back at this point. But we all know he's going to do that rally in a couple of days. So,
right. Yeah.
Which he's also been criticized for.
Right. But 100,000 folks will be over there in Tulsa. That's what he's saying anyway. Thank you, Martha Raddatz. We appreciate your expertise always so generous with your time and being able to offer these interviews. Thank you, and have a great weekend. All right, you can see much more on Martha's exclusive interview with Bolton during a 1-hour special on ABC. It happens this Sunday night, 8 o'clock, right here on ABC 13. It's going to be extraordinary. Watch that. John Bolton again on his book. That is it for the Midday. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back here, same place, same time, but next Monday. Have a terrific weekend. And by the way, to all the fathers out there, have a beautiful Father's Day weekend.